6 days to go. One pink brick. No good news. There's bad news. Well, it's bad gossip, if you like. There's no news in here because this is the West Ham Transfer Rumour Show. And welcome, where we don't make up the rumours, we just discuss them and usually dismiss them. And we'll be doing a little bit of that this evening. But let's kick it off with the main one this week. Armando Broja, the loanee that's on loan from Chelsea at Southampton. And he's had a very good season, isn't he? What a signing he would be. He'd be my perfect signing. Do I believe this rumour? No. Would I love it be true? Yes. Out of everybody we've been linked to in this transfer window, that's the one. If I can make any come true. If you give me a wand, said you've got one wish. Well, I wouldn't. If I had one wish, it wouldn't be to sign a striker at West Ham, I can assure you that. But if it had to be transfer related involving West Ham United, I'd wave said magic wand and sign Broja. To be fair, if we sign Broja, I would be waving my magic wand. Anyway, right, let's talk about Broja though. I don't believe it. Let's rewind a little bit to the summer, and this is part of the reason I do not believe this rumour, despite how much I wish it was true. Because in the summer, he signed a new deal with Chelsea, a long-term contract after spending last season on loan in the Netherlands, where he did really well for Vitesse. Came back, signed a new deal, and Chelsea rejected quite a lot of loan offers for him initially. Heavily involved in pre-season, did well, scored goals, and I'm not sure Chelsea were intending on loaning him out. The sign of Lukaku changed the landscape, however. Off he went to St Mary's, and despite what's happened with Lukaku, the fallout, the arguments, if you like, the out-of-form Timo Werner, I still think Chelsea did the right thing loaning Broja out. Would he get game time at Stamford Bridge this season? Yes. But would he get the goals, the development as he has at St Mary's? I'm not too sure. I think he's going to return a much better player for his loan spell. And again, that's another reason I'm not too sure we'll see him at West Ham United. So anyway, went to Southampton. They obviously spent big money on Adam Armstrong in the summer from Blackburn Rovers. They got in Armstrong, they got in Broja. And Armstrong started as their main man up front. And rightly so. It's in Southampton's best interest that if either one of them was a success, it is Adam Armstrong. They spent big money on him. It made sense. But due to injuries, lack of form from Armstrong, good showings from Broja off the bench, he's now displaced him and he's now Southampton's main striker. Boy, what a striker he looks as well. And he's my go-to example. Whenever people say, well, what strikers could we have got in the summer? He is my go-to example. And he has been for quite a while now because he was available just on loan. We could have got him. Low fee, low risk. Happy days. Potentially big rewards for Southampton who loaned him. And this is where I don't think any other club, I say any club, I think Southampton are the... If he leaves Stamford Bridge on the permanent, I think he's only going to one place. And that's the St Mary's. Why would he not go there where he's guaranteed first team football, where he's the main man? He's enjoying his football. We've heard that he's enjoying life down there as well. It would make sense for him to stick there. Anyway, in regards to the January transfer window, the rumour of him coming to West Ham United, Chelsea would need to have a recall clause on him. It's uncertain if they've got one. Some reports, I had a little look, some reports suggest they do have one. They can actually recall him whenever they want in January. But there's others suggesting that that is not there. They don't have one and he's at Southampton for the season regardless. Unless both clubs agree to terminate the loan, which Southampton just aren't going to do. But hypothetically, if there was a recall clause there, Chelsea can recall him and sell him if they wanted to. Simple as that. I just don't see it. I think even if Chelsea decided we're going to sell him to the highest bidders, they're much better leaving him where he is on loan and then sell him in the summer. Because naturally, you've got to back him, haven't you? You've got to look at him right now. The fee being touted was 20 million. I mean, what a bargain that would be. But let's just say he was 20 million today. If he carries on his form between now and the end of the season, what's he worth? 30, 40 million? Upwards of 40 million. I know he'd only have one season under his belt in the Premier League, but he's a homegrown player. You have to remember that he is homegrown. He was born in England, but he also come through Chelsea's academy, so he's a homegrown player, which is extremely valuable. 20 years of age. He would be worth 30. I reckon 40 million. I reckon he'd be worth 40 million if he keeps scoring goals for Southampton in the Premier League. I think he becomes one of the most sought after strikers. I would love him at West Ham. I think he's got everything. He's big, he's physical, he's got a bit of speed about him, he's deadly in front of goal. It's not often you see a striker who just sort of barges defenders out of the way and is quite direct and stuff. I really like him. Can play counter-attacking football. There's been enough evidence where Southampton are broken. He's led the counter-attack as well. Really good in the air. He's got everything that Moyes wants, everything that West Ham needs. would love him. I just don't see it being true, unfortunately. And I wish it was. I mean, maybe it is, because there's been a couple of rumours that there's been two different ones, if you like. So one website said we've made record bids, or sorry, we've had bids rejected which would have broken West Ham records. Now, what that West Ham record is wasn't really given in much detail. And then there's other reports coming out today which says that West Ham have had some bids rejected this week for players. So it looks like we're finally getting a little bit active. We've not really had this yet. The first 3 weeks of the transfer window, we've been told we are, I don't know, we're monitoring, we're looking at, do you know what I mean? All those phrases, monitoring, looking at, debating, lining up, scouting, whatever, interested in, that's what we are. We're interested in him, and him. Monitoring him, and him. But this week, today, in the last couple of days, we're finally hearing we've had bids rejected. Now, of course, bids rejected is a bad thing. But I'm feeling a bit half glass full today, guys. That means we're bidding, right? Bids are getting rejected. It means we're actually lodging bids. That is progress. And usually the first bid gets rejected anyway. You don't go in with a high ball offer straight away, do you? So bids being rejected doesn't really concern me at all. It means we're finally getting a little wiggle on. And we've got 6 days to get it sorted, assuming we've decided which players we want. First bid's been turned down. Fine. We've got 6 days to get that negotiation sorted, which can be a long time in football. Positive Geo. Bet you weren't expecting that when you tuned in, were you? Anyway, you want to do something positive to your mobile phone, you can do by downloading the OneFootball app. The link is in the description of this video, just underneath the screen. Click on it, expand the description, it'll say to download the OneFootball app. I've also put it in the pinned comments in the comment section as well, just to make it a little bit easier for you to get your hands on it and keep up to date with everything going on at your club right now. Today, did you know yesterday, here's a fun thing, yesterday in the African Nations, Cameroon played Comoros, and Comoros didn't have a goalkeeper. The main goalie was injured. The second choice and third choice keeper both had COVID. So the left back went in goal against Cameroon. And there was a Cameroon player going through in goal. And obviously the left back's in goal. I'm going to call him the keeper, but it's really naturally. So Aaron Creswell's in goal. The Comoros Creswell's in goal. And while the Cameroon player was running through, the keeper forgot he was a keeper. And he put his hands behind his back and stood up to defend the shot. I just thought it was interesting. How do you keep up with things like that? On the OneFootball app. It says, who do you support? Which competitions would you like to follow? And when you go into your favorited, you can click on the club badges, you can click on the competitions and get all the news related to that topic that you've chosen. And keep up to date with all the latest transfer rumours, because as a West Ham fan, there's plenty of them coming on the OneFootball app and right here on this channel. Right, next transfer rumour. Someone we may have had a bid rejected for. Because one thing the reports of the bids don't tell us is who they were bidding for. But there is other bids, other reports suggesting we've had a bid for Caleta-Car rejected. Now, if you've tuned into the last 2 or 3 transfer rumour shows, you'll know this won't be a surprise to me. The Marseille factor. It was Kamada last time, it's Caleta-Car this time. We've had a long-standing interest in Caleta-Car. Now, the one thing, there's 3 different reasons here actually. First up, West Ham has been interested in Collecta-Car for a little while. When we got Dimitri Payet, before we signed Dimitri Payet and we were looking at Batshuayi, remember him? We were looking at players like him. And the Sullivans debated buying Marseille Football Club because it was cheaper to buy Marseille than it was to buy Michi. Is his name Michi? Michi Batshuayi. I think that's his name. Batshuayi. It was cheaper to buy the football club than it was to buy the striker. Anyway, obviously that never occurred. But we've had a long-standing interest in Marseille players, and Caleta-Car has always been one of those. We then got the Georges Santos one. Yes, gorgeous Georges. We've obviously pinched him from Marseille, the scout, so he will know the Marseille players inside out. And then we've got the Rob Newman factor. When Aldridge was appointed at Marseille a couple of years ago, they appointed Aldridge. His job was to try and sell players from Marseille to the Premier League. Now, one of the rumours that was quite persistent in suggesting that Aldridge was trying to do was to sell Caleta-Car to Manchester City, where Rob Newman was at the time. Of course, there's quite a lot of links between West Ham and Marseille at the minute. Obviously, I spoke about the transfer ban as well, so Marseille under a little bit of pressure to sell this window. However, the suggestions are West Ham are trying to loan him. We're trying to loan him. with an option to buy. That's just no use to Marseille. Marseille need the money now so they can buy players today. Marseille need to buy players in the transfer window. I don't know why I'm pointing at my watch. Marseille need to buy players in the transfer window. Don't know what correlation that is. I guess they're running out of time as well. But Marseille can't. It's possible Marseille can't buy players in this summer because they're going to have a transfer ban. They need the money now so they can spend it now and get players in. Loaning them is no use. They're not going to agree to that. But the fees tipped to be around about 15 million, which is quite cheap for a centre back. It's quite cheap for someone with Caleta-Car's reputation. And I say reputation because I've still not watched him loads, to be honest with you, to give you a proper opinion on his ability or that. But one to watch. I think there's legs in that one. I don't think there's legs in Broja. Collecta-Car, I think so. West Ham taking advantage of Marseille being skint. We did it before, didn't we? We did it in 2015. That turned out all right. So maybe, just maybe. Now for the silly one. This one definitely doesn't have legs. Dominic Calvert Lewin. Calvert, not Calvin. Everyone calls him Calvin. They've just decided his name's Calvin. It's Calvert. Dominic Calvert Lewin of Everton. It's just stupid. The rumour itself is just crazy. But I tell you what, though, right? If you had to pick a perfect player, not Broja, that's my one. You have to pick one now. If you had to pick a perfect player for David Moyes, I'd imagine a lot of people would come back and say Calvert Lewin. Actually, the way he plays, the style of him, you can see it working under David Moyes. Actually, but £50 million price tag. I mean, I think it's a fair price tag for the striker. I don't think we'd get him out of Everton. I think if Calvert-Lewin leaves Everton, he's probably going to maybe a club with a bigger reputation rather than what they're currently doing. So if you had the choice between West Ham and Arsenal, obviously we've got European football. They don't. I think he'd probably choose Arsenal. Yeah, let's just dismiss that one and move on. It made me smile, I guess, when I saw the transfer rumour. It didn't make me smile. Just how stupid it was. But Nat Phillips, there's another player. He's going somewhere. Nat Phillips. He's going somewhere. This time next week, Nat Phillips will have signed for another Premier League club. I'm quite confident. Is it us? Is it Burnley? Is it Newcastle? I don't know. We don't know yet, do we? I wouldn't be surprised if he's on our list. But perhaps not the main man. Maybe he's the backup man or something. But we're still being linked to Nat Phillips anyway. And also the Jesse Lingard thing's cropped up again. I'm not actually going to go into it too much because I think it's cheating. I know a little bit about it. I don't know all of it, right? But I know a little bit about it. And I still think Jesse gets a hard time. I feel a bit sorry for him, actually. His hands are tied. Man United just will not sell Jesse Lingard to West Ham United. And I'm going to save this because we're going to do our deadline day show next week. On Monday, we've got our transfer deadline day show. We like to do a 2-hour thing covering the build up to the big bong. I don't know if it goes bong, but Gonzo likes to think it does, so we'll just amuse him. So 9 PM till 11 PM next week we'll be live until the deadline window shuts, and we'll discuss the Lingard thing in there in a bit more detail because his hands are just tied by Man U, and I feel really sorry for him. And I'm aware of what Stuart Pearce has said on Talk Sport, but I think Stuart Pearce has just been a little bit reserved and doesn't want to put too much pressure on. Well, he's got to take the spotlight away from West Ham, I guess, doesn't he? But Man U just won't let Jesse come to West Ham. He just won't. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. But look at all the other rumours, which is that Lingard will not go to Newcastle on a permanent deal. Now, I know some people will say, well, it's in case they get relegated. But what happens? Hypothetically, it's a genuine question. What if perhaps Lingard wants to come to West Ham, but Man U won't let him come to West Ham in January? What happens if he'll come in the summer so that if he goes to Newcastle on a loan, he can still come to West Ham in the summer? Just for now, Man United will just not play ball with West Ham. As far as I understand it, they're not interested, Man U. Even if we were to offer 15 million, they don't care. They won't do it. But just in case West Ham finish above Man U, how embarrassing would it be for Man United if they sold us Lingard? And even if we don't even get 4, even if we finish 5th, let's just say we go on to finish 5th. We go on to finish 5th. Man U finish 7th. That would be an embarrassment for them, and it cost them more than 15 million. That league position is missing out on European football. It would cost them more than the 15 million they get from West Ham. So it's a shame, really. I do have a lot of sympathy for Jesse Lingard, actually. I would love to see him back at West Ham. Last one, Longelo, our player. It looks like he's on his way out. and it might be on a permanent as well. He's one of those players, I think some people, not necessarily myself, but some people have expected him to make it in first team. He also looked good in the Europa League when we played him as well, but Nottingham Forest are the front runners for his signature at the minute, and it might be a loan move. He might just go out on loan, but there's also a chance that he's going to move permanently to Nottingham Forest. It just sort of depends on the terms that Forest are willing to offer to get Longelo out of West Ham United. So one of our youngsters that we were perhaps hoping to see a little bit this season, looks like he's not really got a future at West Ham. It's a bit of the Josh Cullen thing about it, really, isn't it? It would be a shame to see him go, but at the same time, I've never been blown away by him. I think he's done well, but I think I've always had more warm to Elise Baptiste and Ashby than I have Longelo. It sounds a bit harsh with the limited stuff I've seen, but it's just the vibe I've got from seeing him and from the comments from West Ham United, really. There's not been much hype around Longelo, so it looks like he could be departing West Ham United. So we'll wait and see. Plenty of stuff to come. Anyway, 6 days, like I said, transfer deadline day show on Monday. So hopefully you can join us for a couple of hours. We've got some special guests lined up as well. So it'll be me, Gonzo, Charlie, a couple of other Hammers Chat people that you're used to. We've got a couple of special guests lined up. We'll do a couple of giveaways and stuff. We'll have a fun evening, won't we? Well, we intend on. It depends on what West Ham do. I guess if we don't sign anyone, it'll be a frustrating evening, won't it? But right, now I'm going to shut up. I'm blabbering. I'm sorry. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Catch you tomorrow. Goodbye.